you just got the house ready for drywall, so that'll go up this week. We've got the drywall guys coming in. So do you want to just walk around and kind of explain what you've done? We didn't video most of this stuff because just a few months ago you did everything on the guest house, and then you kind of videoed that stuff, so there was no need to duplicate, but I thought you might just want to talk about the progress on the main house.
Okay, here's the Duro vents and the insulation that we did. And so we'll add a little link to how we did that. You know, it's no different in this house than it was in the other house. We put in several outlets and run the wire that needs to go to certain places. Like down here, you'll see this little stud guard. There's you can see this right here. This is part of the wire. It goes down under the floor that feeds all the way back to the breaker box. And so that feeds some outlets that are here. This is an outlet that leads to the outside, an outdoor light. And then these are going to be outlets for the kitchen. It runs along through here. And we did, here's the kitchen light up here. We ran the wire. This is better to see this because there's no insulation on the inside wall, but you can see that we run it to a box and then it goes out to where it needs to in the ceiling. Something that's a little different in this house is the stove is going to be right here, and we're going to have an exhaust for the stove since we're down here in the deep south. Whenever we're cooking something, we don't. About 10 months out of the year, you don't want a lot of heat in the house, and so that'll help push most of the heat outside. So it's definitely worth the extra work to put that in. And then we did some, a lot of the plumbing hasn't been done yet, but I had to run the vents for those pipes. For just about anything that has a P-trap, you need to have a vent that leads to the outside, so it's what all of these are. They run down into the base, or down into the crawl space where like the toilet plumbing's gonna be run, for the shower, and other things we haven't put in yet. But since most of that stuff is underneath the floor, I'm not gonna do it just yet. I'll wait until we start putting in those appliances or those things before I'll start running the plumbing for it. But these have to be run because they're in the wall. And so, for example, one of these will probably be for the shower. The other one will be for the kitchen sink. One of these will be for the toilet. Probably this one will be for the toilet because the toilet's going to be right there. And this one will be for the dishwasher. And this one's already built in for the little vanity that's here. So water will come in through the P-trap, come into here, go down, and then here's your vent for allowing it to, if there's pressure that's built up, it's able to pull air from up above that runs out the side of the house. I don't know if you can really see that or not. Here's some of the hot water heater stuff that we ran. We ran cold water. You want to come around here, see this. Right now there's cold water. This is live through all of this, through the blue pipe, even up through here there's water. It's just not going anywhere. There's no water in it at all yet because we don't have the hot water heater in. That's going to be right here. Here's the wires that are for the hot water heater. And so that leads underneath the house where I have a manifold that allows us to be able to branch off from that center place to all the different appliances to heat them up, to hook them up to the hot water and the cold water. Here's a shower. It's a lot like the other house. I don't know how much of that we taped, but getting this one in here was a lot easier because we only put in 2 walls, a back wall and this wall. We put this in and then I built this wall after we had that set in, which is a little easier than building the wall and then trying to set it in. In this stuff, I don't know if it's not really mandatory, but I put some kind of sealer down in this case some water gets underneath somehow, from somebody taking a shower or something. If it gets underneath there, it just allows for a little extra protection, just in case that does get a little bit wet underneath there. And that's some kind of Kilt's Complete Sealer is what it ended up being. And I don't know if that, like I said, I don't know if that's real mandatory, but for me, it just makes me feel a little bit better that it's there. And then the washer and dryer are gonna go here. It's gonna be a stack unit. We're probably not gonna need the 110 that's here, but went ahead and put in a 110 dedicated circuit and then a 220 dedicated circuit. So the washing machine, what comes out of the washing machine will go down this hole, and the supply lines are right here.
And this is the dryer vent down here?
Yeah, and that's the dryer vent down there that leads directly right outside. And then in the bedroom, we've got a pretty decent sized closet, 27 inches out, and then I think almost 10 feet wide, so that's pretty decent size. Kim wanted some lights in here, make it a little easier to see, so we mounted a light there and a light there. And then we decided to put the breaker box in the closet to make it a little easier to get to. And this bottom down here, I'm gonna put in some kind of plywood or something so it's easy for me to be able to access and be able to run extra lines if I need to. Like for example, if we want to put in a line for an RV RV plug-in, I can run the outside wires where they need to go. I get in here and then run the wires here to the breaker box where it needs to be. Or if we decide to put in an outdoor kitchen sometime, I can run an extra line. What's funny is this house is only 14 by 40, but look at all these breakers we've got. This is more than a lot of people's have, but if you go through and you do what they say, okay, this needs to have its own line, that needs to have its own line. And then one thing that we decided on also is for, let's say, for the AC that we're gonna have here, they recommend that you run a dedicated circuit for it. So I ran 110, and then I thought, while I'm at it, go ahead and run 220, just in case if sometime in the future we decide that we need a bigger unit. Because the one we're going to put in here, I think, is like two sizes. There's only one size bigger than the one we're going to put in here that still runs on 110. And if you go higher than that, you have to go 220. So I thought, well, I might as well go ahead and put them in here. So I did this here, and I also did it in the living room because we have an AC that we're going to put here. Then we're going to have a wall unit put in the other side as well. Well, the living room right now has a bunch of drywall in it. But it's a lot like the rest of the house. We've got a few outlets. That's mostly what's in here is outlets. Because you spend a lot of time in here, you plug in your phone, you plug in your TVs. We decided to put in two cables for TV. We live within 20-25 miles of a metropolitan area of about 50,000, and so they have their own TV station, stuff like that, and so we're able to pick up with an antenna about 12 stations, and so that's what one of these will be dedicated for. And then if we ever decide, oh well, we need more than that, we want like a dish network or direct TV or something else, I decided to go ahead and put in an extra line just in case. I don't know if that'll be necessary, but it'd be nice to have the extra line just in case. And then the rest of these are just outlets. And then on this wall, the same as the bedroom, we'll have an AC, we'll have a window unit here, and then I've got two outlets down here that are dedicated, one that's 110 and the other one that's 220. So we're hoping in a few days to be able to have all the drywall in here, and then Kim and I will start working on maybe like the insulation up in the attic.
Oh yeah, we're gonna do the blown-in insulation, just like we did for the Granny Pod tiny house, guest house, which I'll link that video above. So once they get the drywall up, then they'll take a few days off, and that'll give us 3 or 4 days to put all the insulation in up there. Then they'll come back and do the taping and mudding.
Because the other house, how long did it take us? 5 or 6 hours just to do that little area? And this is about twice the size, so I figure it's going to take at least 1 full day, if not more than that. And so we might as well, we told them it'd take a couple of days for us to put it in. And so I'm hoping once we get that in, that'll be really exciting, because then you won't have these huge temperature fluxes as much as you do as when something is opened up. It'll be a little easier to heat and cool this than what it was before. So
Yeah, and we have this stack of drywall because when we, before we decided to have the drywall professionals come in, Billy was gonna do the drywall himself, and then when we had the tiny house, the guy come in to do the mudding and taping there, he said that, it wouldn't be any big deal, wouldn't cost much more to have him hang the drywall. And at that point, we had already purchased the drywall, so it'll be even better pricing because we provided the drywall. So anyway, I think it just makes sense to have them do it because they can get it done quicker. It would probably, how long do you think it would take if you had to hang the drywall? You think like 3 or 4 days to hang the drywall?
I'd say a week or two.
A week or two.
Probably a week.
Yeah.
I mean, I could do the ceiling kind of fast. The other house really didn't take me that long once I really started getting going. But it would be cheaper for us to do it. But we do have a little bit of money set to the side. We're doing pretty well so far on what we've spent on the houses. And so, we've done most of the work ourselves, and, this is what people are going to see. People are going to see the drywall. They're going to see the mudding and the taping. The paint they're going to see, but if we make a mistake there, it's not that hard to fix. So, I would rather go ahead and have somebody else do the drywall, mud and taping, and then we can come in and do the painting. And like I said, if we make a mistake, it's not that big of a deal to repaint something if you need to.
Yeah.
So, and we've done the other house. It isn't perfect, but it doesn't look too bad. And I think it'll look okay.
Okay, so that's an update. So we will update again when we get a little closer, a little more progress. Probably after the drywall's in, we'll do another update.
Yep.
Looks good. Thank you for your hard work.
Yeah, no problem.
And thanks for showing us around.
All right. See you later.
Bye. Thanks for
Bye.
watching.